Is your business stuck relying on word of mouth referrals to feel more like chance and strategy? If your website isn't bringing in the leads or your marketing efforts aren't delivering the results, then you're not alone. And it would not surprise me. I'm sure that they aren't delivering. And it's time that we need to fix that. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the 3 most common mistakes that I see most small business owners make when it comes to their marketing. And I'm going to make sure you avoid these. One very important thing to note is that I won't just call these out. I will provide you actionable insights to finally take control of your online growth. If you have a WordPress site and you're using GoDaddy or Bluehost or anything like that as a hosting provider, do not contract with them to do any SEO. Because I just had a client that I just recently started working with where they informed me that they were working with Bluehost for quote unquote SEO. And when I took a look at it, I saw this is meaningless. This would have worked really, really well 15 years ago. But we are in 2025. And if you are not thinking about search engine optimization in a way where this is post, ChatGPT, post Perplexity, in a world where your visitors are using LLMs and not, and in many cases, depending on your industry, there has been a decline in Google usage. So whatever you're spending, a few $100 or whatever it is every month, cancel it. And I want you to pay attention to this because this is going to really help you. And plus, it'll save whatever $1,000 a year or whatever it is that you're paying. And oh, by the way, your SEO should be costing anything legitimate, that is, should be costing a lot more than a few $100 a month or $1,000 a year because it's not doing your business any help. And I don't care how many quote unquote links it's trying to pull in. So that was really the bonus. I started with the bonus first. Now I'm going to work and share with you the 3 most common issues that I see. And this was pulled in from a number of different sales meetings that I've had over the course of the last 3 or 4 months. So these are actual real life samples of what actually has been going on. Number 1, a lack of clear marketing strategy and messaging. The issue is this one particular prospect, the website wasn't effectively communicating what the company offers or its value proposition, and it left potential clients confused and uninterested. So why does that matter? Well, without clear messaging, and when I say messaging, I am talking about on your homepage, and I may actually just bring up an example here, but on your homepage, if it is that hero banner and there's not a call to action or a call out as to who is this for, who am I speaking to, okay, that is not going to be useful in terms of from a messaging standpoint. You want to grab the prospect's attention as soon as they get to your website, and no, they shouldn't have to scroll all the way down to the bottom to understand whether they're in the right place or not, because they will go right back to wherever they were, when they found you to begin with. So whether that's Google or Bing or some LLM platform where that was a link to where your website was. So you really cannot be, you cannot miss on the messaging when it comes to a lack of differentiation. It really does reduce the trust level. And ultimately, when you are introducing your brand for the first time to someone coming to your website, the trust is the most important thing that you need to convey to them. And it's going to make it real hard when if you're in a crowded market, for you to differentiate yourself if you're not leveraging your website and the messaging in the right way. So what's the solution for this? The solution is to develop a cohesive marketing strategy. And I know that sounds real easy coming from somebody who does this all the time, but it really does help define your brand's unique value proposition, and it helps target the right audience. You have to align the messaging on your website in everything you do online, whether it is in your YouTube channel or in your LinkedIn profile or in any of the posts that you're making in any other app or across the internet in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a video or an image or anything. You've got to have a consistent, cohesive message, understanding that when people think of your brand, they understand what it is you do and who you help. That is number one. I'll just throw this in. The reason why I believe this is being missed, and I'm not trying to throw web developers under the bus, but not a lot of web developers have ever taken any kind of a copywriting course, a conversion rate optimization course, or any kind of training in any way. Certainly not any search engine optimization. So those are the three areas: copywriting, conversion rate optimization, and SEO will really help effectuate a proper message for your brand. So that was number one. Lack of clear marketing strategy and messaging. And when you have your marketing strategy dialed in, that will help differentiate you as well, because you have a clear understanding and a strategy as to what it is you're trying to accomplish. You don't just have a website because everybody has a website. Then if that's the case, just take it down. Your website should be bringing in leads for your sales team or leads for whoever it is that handles a booked appointment or a request for a quote or whatever it is that you deem a conversion to be. So that's number one. Number two, reliance on word of mouth referrals without scalable lead gen. So you have this issue where there is a dependence, very heavily dependent on word of mouth referrals. Oftentimes I will speak to a business who may be in business for the last maybe 2 or 3 years. So in my mind, they're still fairly new. They haven't really established themselves. But you should not be looking at that as your primary source of growth for your business, because you will find there are months and weeks that will go by and no one has referred you. Now what? This is why you have to layer in a consistent marketing lever a channel or channels that help bring in those consistent leads. So it also applies to those of you who rely on BNI or Chamber of Commerce or any of these offline networking. I would again treat that as the same thing as your referral source. You could go to these meetings and you could pitch what it is that you do and tell people the best kind of a client for you would be blah, blah, blah. You're not reaching new people. You're seeing the same people week or month after month, and you're now relying on them to be in front of new other businesses. So that's just kind of my take on that. And I'm not saying that you should not be a part of Chamber of Commerce or BNI, but in my experience, and I was in BNI about 20 years ago, I didn't find it to be real effective because, as I said, you're forced to bring a lead in for someone. And so I think that there are better ways to market your business and to start getting some traction. And I think if all you do is leverage something like LinkedIn as your main source of trying to reach new prospects, that to me is a far more efficient way of reaching new business. So why does it matter? Why does it matter that people get referrals, or that you shouldn't, maybe rely on those as a single source of leads? They are valuable, but they can't and they will never be the sole source of client acquisition. You need repeatable, measurable, different methods and different marketing activities that are ongoing to generate those leads. So the solution for this is you should be implementing a diversified lead gen strategy. Include inbound marketing. And when I say inbound marketing, I'm talking content, whether it's video, whether it is podcast, audio, whether it is content marketing within your website, or content across other platforms, targeting those specifically. That would require you to either yourself or your team, or you hire externally a marketing team who will come in and produce consistent messaging and content. This is, again, when we consider the type of content, and this will not be a content marketing exercise, but just it should not be that you have an upcoming sale or all about who you are and why you're the best brand. It really should be providing some information. You want to be able to be considered as a competitive brand. You need to provide some additional other insight that maybe your competitors are not providing. So really think about what it is that you're trying to message out there. And a mix of also some outbound efforts. And what I mean by outbound, it's things that are coming from your organization outward. So cold email or ads, maybe paid search ads in Google or banner ads across different publisher sites. So if what you should do is take a walk, crawl, run approach to this, and you should start out developing organic content before you start publishing out and spending money on ads. It depends on your budget. If you've got more money than time, then what you want to do is absolutely work with a smart strategist and getting your ads to the right audience. Also, if you are going to be doing any paid search, just a rule of thumb is understanding who your audience is. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of understanding who your audience is. In many of the recent analysis I've conducted, I have learned that many audience that are for specific, when I'm talking specifically manufacturing, talking about engineers and trying to acquire more audience that are engineering in sales or product managers in that work with other manufacturing industry in the manufacturing industry. Typically, I have found less of them are using Google. More of them are using ChatGPT and Perplexity, and some uptick also in Bing.com. So again, you cannot assume everybody's using Google anymore. So having an audience analysis, and again, if you're interested, I'll put a link below in the description in this video, but you should have a digital marketing assessment. And in the digital marketing assessment, you will get a full and complete and thorough audience analysis to really understand exactly who your audience is, more importantly, where they are and where they are actually looking right now. One of the most biggest fails I see, ineffective or inconsistent use of digital marketing channels. So in one sales conversation, I spoke to someone who said that he, quote, dabbled in cold email campaigns with little success, and he lacked ongoing inbound marketing efforts like content marketing, SEO, or paid advertising. Very, very common. This is what typically happens is and I'm going to highlight the word he used, dabbled, which means we tried for a very short period of time. That could have been less than 90 days. We saw it didn't work right away, and so we just stopped it. This is the biggest fail. Number one, things are going to take what they're going to take. Cold email or SEO especially, you cannot start and stop that in less than 6 to 8 months' time. It does take time. Even paid advertising, you need to have a testing period of time. You need to be always testing your creative, that is the images, the videos, the messaging, the call to action, what platforms you're actually on, whether it is Google search or Performance Max or any number of others. Bing, if Bing has never been tested. So really not, and again, this all tacks back to the fact that you do not have a digital marketing strategy in place. And when you have no strategy, you are going to continue to dabble, waste time and money, while your competitors are breaking through and getting found. So, why this matters is inconsistent efforts will lead to a weak result. And if you do not have a structured approach, it is nearly impossible to build momentum measure ROI or adapt strategies based on data. Regular content creation. Now, you don't have to be publishing content on 5 or 6 platforms every single day. You need to commit to 1 or 2 max. It's usually what I recommend. Pick 1 or 2 platforms. If you are B2B, I would avoid using Meta, that is Instagram and Facebook. I have also spoken to lots of B2B who are getting less and less interest, even with the paid ad side of things. I'm not hearing or seeing many great results. So again, if you're B2B, I would focus primarily on the best B2B platform, that is LinkedIn, and this platform, YouTube. If all you do is just focus here on YouTube or on LinkedIn or a combination thereof, you will see results. And I would say that you should be patient. Consistency is far more important than getting any major traction in less than 60 days. So regular content creation, focus on your expertise. Why do people hire you? Focus on that. I would also not ignore your website. And maybe you think people don't read blog posts anymore, but they do. So you should start. And if you don't want to call it a blog, you don't need to. You can call it a resource center or a knowledge center or any other word that describes an area in your website where you're publishing content where you are the subject matter expert, and providing a point of view or case studies are really important. Anything that AI cannot answer about what it is that you do or who you are, that's what you should be building in. Also, videos. Any way that you can articulate or make a point in either a minute or 10-minute video or a 1,500 word blog post, it doesn't matter. Focus on a content strategy. I'm going to be providing more insight into what I mean about content strategy and how to leverage AI tools and platforms to provide you with a strategy and a brainstorm, an outline. Again, I've mentioned it before, but avoid having your favorite LLM be creating a blog post for you where you copy, paste, and put that into your website. Google has recently said, as recently as January of 2025, that they will be cracking down on that. And again, as I've always said, probably since about 2009, focus on your audience, on the end user. Is this the kind of type of piece of information or resource that your ideal client or customer would appreciate receiving? If so, if you can honestly look at it and say, yes, this is something I would feel very comfortable sharing on any platform, and I believe this would be providing useful, helpful information, then by all means do it. We really are at a peak point when it comes to generic content that's just not doing anything. These core problems that I've just mentioned, unclear messaging, over-reliance on referrals, inconsistent marketing execution, there's many more, but these are the 3 big ones. I guarantee you have at least one, if not all 3 of these. And they are very common, and they are common because we do not have, apparently, significantly enough subject matter experts in the digital marketing field who can come across to you, whether here on this platform or in LinkedIn or in any other place, that are actually speaking more of the truth of what you should be focusing more on. If you address these areas within your comprehensive digital marketing strategy, you're going to generate more predictable leads, you're going to improve your online presence, and you're going to scale a lot more effectively. So that's what I have for you today. If you found this useful at all, then you'll find even more help, because in the next video, I'm going to highlight what your website says about your brand. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one.